Hello, boys and girls. This is Old Man Yells at Cloud for my Patreon Blue Powder Monkeys. I say slamming my pen into the microphone. That sounded pretty good. Anyway, so I'm going to be working on some stuff for my role-playing game, which are stellar maps, basically. I've talked about this a little bit on the Patreon site. Basically, I'm doing like monochromatic, old-school 70s throwback maps for D6-based science fiction games. That was a mouthful. Most important part, though, is I have switched off my Adobe stuff, and I'm now using Affinity. So you can see by the little A up there, which is the hot and trendy new design software, which is free. Affinity 3 is, anyway. And it functions as Illustrator and Photoshop and InDesign all in one. And there's, of course, much hoopla on the internets of whether or not it is robust and can work as well as Adobe stuff and the differences and all the rest of that. So, to that end, I'm going to be building this thing in Affinity, and we're going to go through all the steps. And I'll try to label stuff really nicely so you can kind of grab chapters that you like or whatever. But the bottom line is we're going to try to learn how to use this stuff together, though I'm going to be a little bit ahead because I'm going to read ahead on stuff and all the rest of that. Anyway, I've set up my base canvas. Speaking of which, oh yeah, I already saved. You have different tabs up here basically to do different things, and what that does primarily is give you different tools along the side. So you can see this selection of tools, and we're not going to get into everything right now because we're just going over basic stuff. And then if I shoot to pixel here, then the tools changed up, I assume. I actually wasn't watching. Yeah, they changed up quite a bit actually. Boom, get some stuff down here. And you go to layout, and then you get the little page count stuff. This document is set up as a multi-page document as opposed to a multi-artboard document. And I haven't quite figured out, it looks like you can't use both. So I'm not sure what that's about. Makes some sort of sense, I guess. But I set it up for multi-pages so that I can do multiple versions of stuff, which I could do on boards, I guess. But anyway. One of the main things I'll be messing around with in the long term is something called symbols, which Adobe does as well. But for some reason, I gravitated to them easier in this. So let's go. So I got this star background. This is going to be like the background kind of texture, basically. I got this star background off of NASA site, and I've already went ahead and done a little work. I added a brightness and contrast layer. So there's two different types of layers. There are image layers and there are pixel layers. Pixel layers, for the most part, are destructive. Image layers are not destructive, if I'm remembering this right. Even though this is a JPEG, I would need to, I think, rasterize it, even though it is a raster object, so that's a little confusing, to turn it into a pixel layer. We're not going to get into that as much right now. What am I going to get into? Well, let me show you. All right, so I have all these locked down so I won't accidentally futz them up. This brightness and contrast, I went through and turned down the brightness and contrast on these stars, and then I added a pixel layer of this monochromatic green that I'm using, this palette here, for this kind of 70s retro look, to do that. Pretty cool. Pretty easy as well. So this pixel layer, as you can see here, I just turned on a multiply, which works exactly like Photoshop. So there's all your little options there. So a lot of stuff works pretty similarly. What I'm about to do doesn't. What Affinity doesn't have so far, from what I understand, is a version of the blend tool, which is an Illustrator, where you could take like a circle and then make a star and then make it blend across where the circle would turn into a star. A lot of people use that for cool, like psychedelic effects and all that. What I used it for was if I wanted to make a grid on this, which I do, I would create a square, and then I would make another square over here and make a whole bunch of squares in between. And I'd know the distance so that I'd do the math to figure the distance out. This is 4,000 pixels, by the way, and this is 3,000 pixels, which will become apparent in a minute. So what we're going to do instead is there's a lot of things that there are a lot of little details that are kind of better in Affinity, primarily having all three programs directly within the same program as opposed to Adobe's linking, which was suspect at best. Placing kind of worked in InDesign. It didn't really work in Illustrator that much. Different shortcut keys for all three programs, all of that nonsense that I've ranted about in the past. So having all three in the same one right off the bat is pretty cool. This is probably going to be a little more tedious than the blend tool though. So I'm going to create a pixel layer. I'm going to go over here, grab a shape. I've got my outline here. I'm going to go ahead and create a square. I'm going to change this square into 50 pixels, I think. Yeah. And again, this is going to be texture, so this is going to be a little horrifying at first. I'm going to go ahead and turn it up a little brighter so that I can kind of see what's going on there. We're at 100 resolution right now, so that's kind of what it's going to look like. This thick, and I'm not going to change. Let's make it a little thicker. This doesn't have the little pull downs as well, so I end up typing stuff a lot. I think it's got a little slider though, so I probably should just get used to doing the slider. Okay, so that pops out a little more, and I can always change these things later, I think. Let's find out. All right, so then we're going to select this. We're going to zap it over to the side. Now, this being 50 and this being 4,000 this way means that I have an even number. It should end up against that other border when I start duplicating stuff. So how we're going to do this is we're going to highlight it. We're going to hold down Control, and we're going to drag it to here. It's going to Smart Snap. There we go. I had to hold down Shift. And now I know that this one is 50 pixels away. I have the stroke set on the middle. Sometimes I like doing it kind of out or in from the little line that's on there, but this type it's in the middle so that they'll kind of overlap each other. It does mean the edges, I think, will be slightly thinner than the inner ones, but I'm not too worried about that. But now they have a duplicate and move key all in one, which is Control J. So, now, I can go all the way across here, hitting this key like 1,000 times. But we're going to try something cool because we're here to experiment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, cool. All right, so now let's do this. Let's group these. Okay. Let's do Control Shift Donk. Okay. Now let's try Control J. Yeah, baby. All right. That's cool. So you can just grab the group and do that with it. Donk, 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 donk. All right. So now we got these all the way across, which is pretty cool. And I have all these groups over here, which is not as cool. But let's do this and group. Now they're double grouped. All right, and we'll call these squares horizontal. God bless clicky keyboards. All right, so now let's take these guys and go Control Shift drag, lined up. Control 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cool. Let's see if I don't even have to group them together. Let's just do this. Control drag. Oh, nope. Oh, did not like. Program did not like. Oh, and it's telling me everything's all messed up now. Cool. All right, let's try it again. Mark. Oh, it goes. It's not liking it. Oh, yeah, this is sluggish. All right, let's do this. Okay. How did I get all these? I don't know where all these random rectangles came from. All right. Oh. There we go. Okay. Group. Blah. Okay. Oops. Definitely likes it better as a group. Still not happy with it though. It's gonna work. Okay. Oh, there we go. Huh? Better. Probably have too many of the smart things turned on. Woo. Is it still duplicating each time, I wonder? Yeah, there we go. Oh, I accidentally counted correct. Or maybe I used multiples 10. All right, anyway, here's my cool little super grid, which may be too small, obviously. But here's what I wanted. I wanted to kind of push this thing to its max. All right, so then I don't think, yeah, and then I can't change the thickness of anything, so that's no good. I can change the color though, maybe? I bet I can't. Oh, I can. Okay, cool. That looks even better. Nice and subtle. Subtle. All right, and then you come down here and you just go bank, and theoretically that made a symbol. Let's find out. Dang. That is awesome. Now I can't, or can I adjust the stroke? 5 to all of them at the same time. Oh, that is dope as fuck. All right, cool. So yeah, it just, you don't have to drill down into the group at all. That is so cool. All right, so now I can come back later if I tried it super thin but went the brighter color, right? Or that color. Anyway. Oh, that's so cool. Please tell me I can change the name of this. Detach. Looks like I cannot. And I didn't get the option to choose a name for it either. So that is interesting. So I'm not going to get a thumbnail down here at all. All right, cool. I think the sync button, I'm guessing, turns this symbol into, or turns that symbol into this symbol, maybe? Let's find out. Yoink. Okay, so that's pretty bright. Let's sync it. Cool. Okay, that seemed to have done that. Let's turn it really dark. Ooh, can't even see that. There it is, barely see it. That's perfect. Okay, let's sync. Let's delete that. Oh, that's so awesome. So you can just basically turn the symbol into a different version of the symbol for all the symbols. That is awesome. Okay, cool. It's possible that Illustrator did this as well. I don't know, because I never used symbols in Illustrator because it was awkward. For whatever reason, it just didn't gravitate. I didn't gravitate to it. All right, unlinked attributes. Transform, straight stroke. Okay, cool. I don't know what that means, but whatever. All right, so we're going to turn this off. Now, we're going to try this. Is there rounded polygon tool? Cool, cool. All right. I don't know what the heck happened there. I was trying to create more sides. All right. Let's see what this does. Oh, cool. Nope. Oh, duh. I do like the little pull down that Adobe has. All right, so there's a hexagon. This is going to be a little more interesting. I think that even with my squares, I need to make them... how is that even... Oh, you can see the bounding box way out here. Hexagons, for those who are wondering what my hesitation was, are not symmetrical. All right, I gotta check a little thing here. I should know this already, being a gamer, but maybe I'm just not a gamer. Okay, flat up. Didn't know what angle this hexagon needed to be. Why are you so pixely? Interesting. Still looks pixely as hell. Too wide. All right, well. control. Cool. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't even think I need to actually group these. I think it just does it to whatever object. So that'll save me some nested shenanigans. Oh, these aren't going to work. These are not true. Else I'm not doing it right. Oh, I'm not doing it right. I'm used to working with hexagons the other direction where I just spaced. Let's go this way. Guys are all probably screaming at the computer screen. You're like, you dummy, do your hexagons the same way. See if it retains it. It does not. It just duplicates it. So you have to do it right after you move it without deselecting. So that's a thing. So do this. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's fine. Let's do this. Okay, actually, let's do this. I already know this program is a little infamous for not being able to like retain stuff off the side of the board, I think. Or maybe when it imports Illustrator, it doesn't do that. All right. So oh, I see. This was hard even in Illustrator. Even with the smart guides, it was a pain in the ass. Can't tell if those are... Those can't be exact. Probably close enough. Ah, damn it. Why am I not getting... Let's pretend like that's close enough for now. Oh, hold on. There we go. Okay, just for fun. Group. Let's center that. All right, cool. So now we can do the same thing, obviously. You can make them darker, make them lighter, make them that. I can reverse them, I bet, too. Yep, that's not very good, though, is it? Oh, God, that's bright. Okay, cool. All right, and then... Oh, excellent. Because I synced it. That is so cool. Okay, create. I don't know when it did that though, and how it happened. I have to go back and watch the tape. Interesting. Well, I'm happy to see that squares are there. Didn't do any kind of right-clicking stuff. Oh well, we'll figure that out later. Anyway, that wasn't as short as I thought it was going to be, but that is the workaround for the blend tool for what I use it for. You can't change shapes into other shapes. You can definitely use Control J to duplicate stuff and then create symbols, and now I can build these documents. There's more flexibility in how I build the documents, which we'll get into when I do the next stuff. Anyway, all right, thanks.